It's round two. Round two, we're recording again because the audio levels were out of whack.
Hey, it's a learning process.
But yeah, so we got a name. The Wandering Monster, I think, is free. And we haven't locked it in yet. We could always use something else. But
yeah,
I think that's the winning candidate at this point.
Give it a test. Give it a try.
Yep. Want to just jump right into it?
I think so. I think we do.
Do you have your
I
dice?
have my dice. So the D4 is the hundreds.
Yes, unless it's a 4 and it's a 0.
4 is 0. Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. We got 207. So that looks like lycanthropes.
Why are there? Do there need to be 6 pages of lycanthropes?
Do you want to test again? We want to wander a different monster in?
Nah, we can talk about lycanthropes.
I don't think I've ever used like any kind of werewolfy, any kind of vampire thing before.
No. Oh, I'm gonna be flipping pages again this whole time.
Were-boar, were-rat, were-bear, were-tiger. The were-shark. Get to talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't even think they have that. But they're missing out.
They definitely don't have the
They're
were-shark.
missing out. The art is really pretty cool, too.
I think the only one that I've ever actually seen used is were-rats. Are pretty popular. Is just like here's a freaky rat guy. A whole bunch of them.
All right. So, I mean, I guess it's just the standard type of curse thing. Lycanthropes, animal forms, powerful versions of a normal animal, unnatural intelligence. I think it's cool that there's like, in comparison to the slod, there's kind of a moral variety, because there's like unwilling lycanthropes that are like, no, I don't want to kill my whole family and my town.
And then there's the tiger who's just good.
Yeah, it's just, I'll kill everybody. I don't care. There's also the player characters. I think it's
kind of weird that they're like, here's a couple good ones, the werebear and the were-rat. Sort of odd that they're not the werebear and the were-tiger. It's kind of odd that they're like, and here's some good guy ones, because
neutral good.
When are you going to encounter those and fight them? Like a tribe of were-tigers? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I think it would be more like, they might be outcast from society because of their were-ness. And then, you run across them and they're just like defending their land or something. I could see that with the were-tiger for sure. They're just neutral. They're just like, get out of here.
I could see maybe in a society, if you have a couple of were-tigers, it's like every full moon we mess up people, and then we play defense the other 30 days.
The other funny thing with this is that, like, with the slods, you could get turned into a slod or birth a slod by, like, the chest bursting thing. Mm-hmm. But this is just a curse. So, like, really, it just comes up. People just get it. You become a were-tiger. That'd be, I think that'd be pretty cool. Just become a were-tiger.
Is remove curse a high-level spell?
I don't think so, actually. I don't think it's that serious. But the thing is, it's kind of up to DM's discretion a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It
like
is third level.
Yeah, third level. So it's pretty decent, but all curses affecting one creature or object end. Yeah. See, it's so vague.
Well, it does say in the book that remove curse does it.
Okay, there it goes. Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Well, so I mean, yeah. But I guess like let's look at the benefits, right?
Okay.
So player characters of lycanthropes on 207, right? Werebear gains a strength of 19, +1 bonus to AC while in bear or hybrid form. Natural weapons. I mean, Wereboar, similar thing. Strength of 17, not quite as good.
But they're evil, at least.
Yeah. Oh, and the charge trait gets a little bonus. That looks like a combat maneuver. They're just trying to skirt it. They're like, we deleted combat maneuvers, but they're back. Were-rat kind of sucks.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure their role is you run into 12 of them in the sewer.
They're just sewer, like creepy sewer men.
Yeah. I remember reading when I was like in middle school or high school some of the Forgotten Realms books.
Yeah.
And they were always hordes of these guys in the sewers.
I think it's kind of interesting that none of these creatures can speak in their animal form. that's pretty strange to me. But I guess it kind of makes sense because it's like a monstrous curse.
That's interesting. I didn't see that.
It's a little disappointing, I think, because then it's kind of difficult to convey any story with these. Like the thing I was talking about before was like a society of were-tigers. Like if they're in the monstrous form, you're either fighting or they're running away or something. Like it's not.
Yeah, I'm not personally a huge fan of were-monsters in D&D.
Well, it's like I have the same reaction to vampires where it's like it needs to be kind of, this whole setting needs to be sort of built around it. It's sort of like Innistrad and Magic, like they very much created the whole setting to fit it. And so I think if you go to like more of like a maybe like 16th, 17th, 18th century type of setting, and you're like, okay, it's a little bit more interesting and the occult has to be really built into it. It can't be like the sort of, it'd be weird to have a campaign where there's like vampires and like demigod things going on. Like I don't think it would.
You think really vampires would just get crushed immediately?
Pretty much. I mean, like, well, let's look at these. Like, CR is 5 on a werebear, 4 on a tiger, and those are like pretty much the best ones. Like, it's sort of like your entry level sort of occult nonsense. Like, I guess like if you were doing like kind of a Cthulhu-y type setting, it could work. Whereas like this is like introduction to the occult and like you were saying, you know, a bunch of were-rats, CR2, armor class of 12. They have a little bit of health, but
not that scary.
No, not really. And they have hand crossbows. Do they
well,
all
I mean,
have
the
weapons?
tiger's he's just rocking out with a bow.
It looks like he has like he has a scimitar too. Yeah, it's kind of weird. They're like, I guess the only one that, oh no, the werewolf has a spear. It's just not in the art.
Huh. No, that's humanoid form only.
Oh yeah.
That's whenever you kick down his door and he's like, oh crap, I'm not a wolf right now. I better stab these guys.
Let me stab these random people. Yeah. That's kind of disappointing that like a 3rd level spell can get rid of such like an interesting curse.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, oh no, grandma's infected with the werewolf curse. Let's just go down to the regular, you know, temple and they can clean it up, no problem. And they will.
Somebody find like a 4th or 5th level cleric.
It's probably not that hard.
Really that exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing I don't like about the I'm sort of over a lot of these moral dilemma scenarios that I think the werewolf sort of thing creates, where it's like, oh no, this person's infected with the werewolf curse and we can't cure them. What do we do? And it's like, oh, well, I guess you should probably just kill them.
It's like the Red Dead Redemption 2, like, what do you want to do? Kill them? Bring them to town for the police. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, we don't care at all.
Yeah. If you bring them to town for the police, they're just going to turn into a werewolf and kill everyone.
Yeah, kill the cops, and then you're back to the same situation.
Yeah. Or
find like a fairly low level cleric and just, there we go. Yeah, I think this is the sort of thing where it's like, it's really, you can do like a short scenario, maybe like a cool one shot about like a town that werewolves have showed up in, like somebody's infected and nobody has the ability to cure it.
Mm-hmm.
I think lycanthropy would be really cool in a setting with no magic or minimal magic, because then it's actually like a threat. Like, you can't deal with it.
Yeah, but if you get infected, you're in a bad way.
Yeah, but like if it's remove curse, like we just don't care. It's just not dangerous. It's like contain them or kill them off, and they're not hard to kill. And like the werebear has an AC of 10, and it's the most dangerous one supposedly.
Do you think that the once a full moon thing is really constricting for this as well?
It does not help. I mean, because you just have a bunch of people probably living in the woods to avoid, you know, any garbage. Yeah, I think there's cool ways to work on this, right? Like, you make it so that this, like, the lycanthropy is tied to like some kind of like warlock patron type situation. You know, where you like take on the curse as part of your patronage,
like an ability.
Kind of, yeah. Like, well, just to make it more core to a character, so it's not like, oh, it's annoying. I have to turn into a tiger occasionally, and then as soon as we get level 3 abjuration spells, I'm good.
That's not a bad idea. Like you could, not even making it a class feature. Maybe they just stumble upon this weird occult werewolf thing, and it's a choice to become a werewolf, and you can sort of do it whenever you want, but you definitely Hulk out and you just sort of attack everybody indiscriminately.
I think that's like Skyrim. That's the way they handled their werewolves, and I thought that was a lot. It was a lot more interesting because it was like you kind of had to join like the cult of the werewolves and do a whole ritual, and then you could use it as a power. Like right, like if you were like a barbarian or something, it would be really cool to be able to like throw on a werebear strength of 19 if you're in a really bad way as like part of a rage. Like you could do like a lycanthrope type barbarian class where instead of raging they turn into an animal.
I feel like that would only work. I guess that would work for the bear and the wolf. Would be good for those.
Yeah, it could be like a sort of a druid thing too. I think there's ways to make it work, but as written, they're a little disappointing. They're not super threatening. They're kind of like, maybe like the big bad of like a level 1 arc.
Yeah, but yeah, you basically, worst case scenario is you get clawed or bit or whatever, but then you have a whole month to fix it.
Yeah, just find any cleric.
And the way that D&D works, unless you're like in the middle of nowhere, that translates to probably 6 months of game time of like, oh yeah, I'm technically a werewolf, aren't I? Unless, I don't know how that would even work. If like the DM was like, I want them to be a werewolf next week.
It is sad too, because like my favorite miniature that I have is the Wereshark.
Yeah, but that's a pretty metal miniature.
I mean, yeah, it's cool. He's got a brain stem, it's awesome. But again, like it's just a silly. It's just kind of a silly thing.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Because also, like, wouldn't you need to be underwater? What's the point of being a Wereshark? You can't breathe. You're just gonna die.
Well, I think the benefits of being a wereshark is that even though you sort of have an awkward midsection, you've got the horrible shark face and legs to run around with.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if sharks had legs. I guess they'd basically be alligators.
Pretty much. But yeah, pretty terrifying. I think that one's most, like, that would be so impactful as far as, like, just, a visual.
Mm-hmm. What about a were-alligator?
Were-alligator. A were-gator.
Like, it's not, there's no, like, a brutal roar and scream. It's just, you turn into one and then you slink into the mud and then someone walks by and you get them. And then they find the body 2 weeks later at the bottom of the swamp.
See, yeah, like, that kind of fits with, like a Cthulhu type setting, right? Because there's always, like, on, like, the bayou or weird swampy areas, right? Mm-hmm. And, but yeah, something like that, like, I think there's a lot of room for creativity here, and like the tiger is the most exciting to me because they're kind of like a regal creature and they're neutral, right? So they have, I feel like they have more flavor to them. That like the werewolf is like really overdone. The bear looks kind of goofy, and that's something really too. It's goofy.
Like, all the other ones have clothes, but not him.
Yeah, he's just naked.
Like what's up?
Like at least like even honestly like. That's something that's funny about this too, is like I feel like the art kind of informs how you're going to initially react to these creatures, and the werebear is the first one they show you, and it's just like it's almost like if Winnie the Pooh lost his shirt and was pissed off and he has a great axe.
Yeah, but you kind of look at the werebear and you're like you're right. It's like this isn't a bad guy. This is a big friendly teddy bear. He's neutral good.
I guess they're trying to make him neutral good, but I just don't understand. I guess. It's just, I'm not sure what they're going for with it. It's a loner by nature. It's just like this sad...
It's a sad, lonely bear.
It avoids biting is to not pass on its curse. Like,
is that really a curse, though? It gets 19 strength, and it becomes a good creature.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. There's... The cool thing with, like, the Slods was that there was, like, a cohesive story to all of it, and they were all connected. And this is just sort of... We just threw out a bunch of random... creatures and like whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not too sold on him. The curse is so easy to remove.
I think it is so easy to remove. It's like really not a problem.
It's like, oh, I broke my toe, like, and that's probably worse. Like,
I would think so. You have to come up with a reason for why.
Yeah.
For why you can't just remove the curse. You could just be like, no, this is a special werewolf. I mean, I guess you could do that. But...
No, I know. It's just they don't give you the tools in the book to really do a lot with them. It's kind of throw this in somewhere. He's like terrorizing a small town at night. The party's passing through. They deal with it. That's it. That's the last time they ever see a werewolf. It's like a little sprinkle of flavor, but I don't think they need to spend 6 pages on it.
I think they included it because they had to.
Yeah, I'm sure there's people who are really into it and they really like all this and they want to do like horror kind of campaigns, and it gives you a lot for that. But
yeah, I think werewolves work really well from a large perspective. Have you ever seen Dwarf Fortress?
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I've seen some.
I mean, that game's impossible to play.
Yeah,
but it's really cool to look at, and from what I've seen from that, like, if a werewolf rolls into your town and you send like 5 dwarves to kill it and it bites like 2 of them, you might just be done for. You're like, I guess we just have to murder these dwarves.
Oh, it's like the Game of Life type thing where you just get like spread out and it's just like, yeah. That's not like
you have to read through the logs to see what happened, and then it says like these guys got bit, and you're like, well, I can either try and lock them up, release them into the general population, or just kill them now, because there's like a solid chance in a month I'm gonna have rampaging were-badgers
just everywhere. Yeah,
everywhere.
Disappointing.
Just murdering each other.
Yeah, like a were-badger would be cool. I think they could have given like, because I think the were-boar is really the only one that has like an interesting ability. Everything else is just like claws, bite, whatever, swords and stuff. But like the were-boar has the one charge attack, which is kind of cool. It's like a little different. Like keen smell is boring because it's just they're animals.
Yeah,
awesome. I guess the tiger has a pounce, at least 15 feet straight forward. Yeah, that's. I guess it knocks prone. That's okay. But the charge one is actually like weird because it's like a DC and it knocks prone. Extras like 2d6 damage. Pretty good.
Oh, I'm glad they put in the damage immunity from non-magical weapons that are not silvered.
Yeah. I mean that's werewolf flavor.
Yeah.
Good. But like, who's gonna silver their weapons unless they're fighting?
That's actually strange. Like, they're immune to all weapons that aren't silver. So if you do throw a were-rat at a level 2 party,
they might actually be dangerous.
It probably will kill them unless they hit it with like 3 magic missiles in a row. And even that's like what they got to do. That's actually really stupid. Because the whole silvered weapons thing, I think it's supposed to be like, we must find a silvered weapon. And then someone's like, I got a +1 longsword. We can just use that.
It's all we need. Yeah. Overall, pretty disappointing.
I was into slots.
Slots were cool. I was feeling the slots.
Well, that's a landmine, and it also takes up 6 pages.
Yeah, it's like the double whammy.
Well, look at this. On page 193, there's a creature called the Jackal Were. Like, why not just
throw that into
that? It's got like a sleep gaze and a scimitar, and
that sounds way more
interesting. This is way cooler. It's an ordinary jackal that turns into a person. It's like the opposite of a werewolf.
Oh, that's why it's flipped. Then they're tainted by demonic power. It's not some stupid curse. Supernatural servants. They kidnap humanoids for their Lamia masters. Well, that's way more interesting.
Oh, it's the Demon Lord Grast. He's back.
Hell yeah. Get him. Sleep gaze is awesome.
DC 10's not hard, though.
DC 10 isn't that good, but like they could just kind of do this.
I mean, these guys are are challenge 1/2.
Yeah, but like you get a group of these together. Pack tactics, too. That's always fun.
That's surprisingly good. Can they put someone to sleep and then just stab them to death?
But like they can like all hang out within 5 feet of each other and get advantage.
just crit.
Roll crits all day.
And hey, they got that silver immunity, non-silver immunity too.
This might be my favorite were creature that I've seen. It's cool because it's the whole flip on it. It's got a tie into a demon, so you can get like long term. These can keep showing up, even if they're really weak. Like you can show up in a cave and there might be some there, and that means that like there's a cult nearby for Grost. It's all gonna happen.
You know, I haven't ever seen a Lamia used, and it's like an evil sphinx.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting now that I know that the book has minions for them specifically.
Yeah.
You want to talk about demons?
Yeah, build a demon.
All right. I got my build a demon
workshop
right here. You want me to go first?
Sure.
All right.
Do you want to introduce the demon building feature?
Yes. Let's see. It was on page 30.
32 is kind of the beginning of it, yeah.
All right. So on page 32, I guess 33 of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, you can roll to make your own demon lord. Or just demon, I guess. But I feel like it's important enough it should be a demon lord.
Well, they let you build a cult for it, so it's probably pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to build the cult, I think, but yeah.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the traits that I rolled for this guy.
Yeah.
And then
did you actually roll and like work out what the story was, or did you pick them?
I rolled first, and then I sort of went from there. I think I added a couple things that helped.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, you got it.
So, a lot of these are like a little bit counterintuitive, but I did my best. For the demon personality trait, I crush those I can defeat and lie in wait to weaken and overwhelm those I must respect.
Yeah, that's the one I actually selected.
Oh, well, that's good. I didn't like that one because I think that's sort of just like I'm a demon and I pick my fights.
Well, see, like I had a story set up for mine. I'll get into that. Don't worry about that. You keep going.
I would have liked if I'd gotten like cunning or might or strength or something, but then I got self-preservation as the demon's ideal.
Yeah.
So it's everything and everyone for themselves in this cruel world. So I guess this demon's looking at like, all right, I got to kill everybody underneath me and get strong.
It's a little simple, right? Like it's kind of like a fighter type demon where he's just like, let's fight.
Yeah. let's tussle. For Demon Bonds, I got that he is the perfect product of creation, destined to one day shape the cosmos to its whims.
I'll have you know I rolled the exact same thing. It's because why would you roll for that when it's one option?
I rolled for it.
But, I think the idea is just like all demons kind of have this superiority complex going on.
Yeah, I think that's thrown in there because when you make a character, they have a table for that.
So yeah, this is just to fill out like a character sheet for demon.
I think it's just being consistent.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then for demon flaws, I rage, but I use anger to distract from my fear of confrontation.
Interesting. He's conflicted. Okay, now he's gotten complicated. We got like some interesting things going on here.
Yeah, I didn't just roll a big mess of traits. He's a complicated demon.
He's flawed.
So then I figured for the unusual demon features, I wanted to roll more than one thing.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think I picked a couple at least.
I got 17 twice in a row.
So is it extra ghost?
Nah, he's just regular ghost.
Okay.
And then I got long arms, and then I went back and added eyeless. It has no eyes.
See, that sounds pretty creepy. It's this long arm, eyeless ghost thing that wants to fight you but doesn't want to fight you.
it's real scared, but it's gonna do it, and it's angry.
Yeah. So
I added that one. I'll explain the reason for the eyeless later. I just picked that one off the list.
Did you do a cult too?
Oh yeah, I did the whole thing.
All right. What's the cult like?
Its cults. Where is it? Right here. Its goal is to recover an artifact or magic item that could prove useful in the Blood War.
The Blood War. Gotta watch out for the Blood War.
This book is all about the Blood War.
Yep.
And so for cult resources, it uses the local cops. It controls the local officers of the law.
Interesting.
Which is weird, because it uses the word local. So now I imagine a small town with like 8 cops.
Like this ghost demon.
Yeah. And it's like, guys, I need the crown of Zul Bagul.
For the Blood War.
And they're like, We're on it, boss.
Blood crown for the blood war.
The cult, but then I don't like this because it says the cult has a false front. It puts on the elaborate deception to appear as a harmless civic group. So, is that the cops themselves, or does it have like a different organization that helps? If that makes sense, or maybe there's an organization and they control the cops. Could be what it is.
Well, I mean, that just sounds like it's the mafia, right?
Yeah.
Like they're legitimate businessmen. They control the cops, and they have, an evil ghost demon lord that has a blood war going on, and he needs money.
He needs cash to fund his blood war.
Yeah.
And then finally, the cult is racked with infighting. They're always backstabbing each other.
It's just the mafia.
Yeah. So I picked
a bunch of people in waste management in New Jersey that worship a blood demon.
So I grabbed the long arm of the law because it's got long arms, and I decided that the harmless front would be a bunch of lawyers.
Well, and Justice is blind, right?
Justice. So that's why I went and made it blind.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So I figured like this is a chaotic evil demon, so it's all about the perversion of justice, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's basically all that the cult does is, in addition to trying to get it whatever this artifact is, they just try and pin people for crimes they didn't do, and then let off murderers and stuff and get them to join the cult.
Because like I built this demon for a story, but I almost kind of want to just run one. Because it's like demon Mad Libs. You have to figure out why any of this stuff is happening and try to make it like function in a world. It's pretty cool. I really liked this section of the book. It's just a few tables, but like you just like have to jam it all together. It's kind of interesting.
It was pretty fun. I'm not sure how I would use this monster because it's the immaterial aspect makes it pretty tough.
Yeah,
but I do think it's a really neat thing to do.
I mean, like that's the sort of thing where you want to have like a town that's overrun with crime or like that's controlled by a mafia, but then you just get the little sprinkle and extra seasoning of and they worship a ghost demon as long arms.
So to tie it all together, I named it Mal Muksoth, the blind incorporeal legless vulture demon. I decided to make it a vulture because I sort of associate eagles with justice.
I mean, like long arms, wingspan.
Yeah, right? Sort of like a condor. Sort of had that image in mind.
Yeah.
I took away its legs because I figured that would be weird too. And I think the way you make a demon is you just mess with it a whole bunch.
Yeah, make it get weird with it.
Yeah. It's immune to all but psychic and radiant damage. Typically, the immaterial says it only takes psychic damage.
Yeah.
But I figured you should also hit it with radiant because nobody deals psychic damage.
Yeah, pretty much, no.
I'm not going to go into its stats. It's got like 100 hit points and 16 AC.
Yeah.
It's got...
I mean, I was more interested in this one for the flavor of it with all the tables anyway, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to wrap it up, I'll skip like the damage and stuff, but I figured one ability that you might give it, and this might be a part of the cult, is that it can... whenever it gets like at least 2 attacks a turn, and whenever it hits 2 different things with its claws, it can choose to roll a 1d4 and like mix and match their stats by that much. So it can be like you lose 4 strength and you gain 4 strength. So that
is that like a permanent change or just?
I think that's a good question. I think it would be either permanent or until one of the people die.
Interesting. Yeah, because I did kind of a similar thing. I lifted a really powerful ability from further back in this book. Let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, I got it. But yeah, because if it's a demon, right, and especially if it's like the head of a cult, if it has like a strong following, you want it to be kind of really dangerous. not like campaign ending, but like pretty rough, and you don't want to have to deal with it. Like if you can just kill off this ghost demon, right, who cares? But yeah, having something like that, like really serious consequences to facing the demon, I think that's cool too.
Yeah,
that kind of goes in with like the false front, like manipulating things too. I like that.
Yeah, I sort of envision it that if you like break into their cult headquarters, you're gonna find a bunch of random kidnapped people who have had like all of their stats strained to 3, and they're just tied up while everyone else running. Like the lawyers have like super high intelligence.
Oh yeah, and just like uses it,
and then the cops
uses
are just
it to buff their things. Yeah, that's
like big
I
thugs.
like that. Yeah, super soldiers.
Super soldiers. And right. I figure if like 2 party members get their stuff swapped, they could probably use like remove greater curse or something, like a 6th level spell to fix it.
Okay, yeah, if you make it like something like that, it could work.
Yeah, like difficult, but you don't need to wish for it or anything.
Yeah.
And then I think the last idea I had for this was the legendary artifact that it's after, sort of made up like the crown of Uzbagul or something.
Right.
But I like the idea of in the lore, I think that the Gith were enslaved by mind slavers, and they got free and killed as many as they could. So I sort of had the idea like maybe the reason they could do that is they had a king who had a magic crown that prevented all psychic damage to him.
Oh yeah, and then he's golden.
Yeah, because he's a ghost, and now he's got this magic crown, so you can't hurt him unless you deal radiant, which is like probably more likely than psychic, but whatever.
Whatever. I mean, if he can cut one of his whole weaknesses out of the picture, I mean, I'd go for that.
Yeah. I mean, he literally doesn't take damage from anything but those 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if he deals half damage with his really long arms, because he's just swapping your stats until you've got 0 intelligence and now you're dead.
That was something I did similar. So, my demon, you'll recognize the name because I prototyped it in another campaign you were in. Uh-huh. But he's called the Sculptor. So I actually picked these based on what I was doing. So I pulled stuff from my favorite book, Chaos Tech.
Of course.
Because I love that. And what I liked about this was this kind of reminded me of like the mutation tables, the unique features thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is the sculptor's. He used to be an elf. He's been kind of transformed into a demon because he was an elf warlock, and his patron was like not giving him enough power quickly enough. So he sort of started dabbling in demon stuff, and demon was like, well, hey, I'll show you how to get all the power out of your patron. And so instead of like being able to control his connection to his patron, he's just now like a funnel for his patron's powers. He has no control over it whatsoever. It's completely transformed him. So he's just a total mess. And anything he touches becomes horribly deformed, basically, because he just has no control over anything. So I picked for him the crush those I can defeat and lie in wait to weaken others. And so that has more to do with his cult, because I came up with the cult before I came up with the demon.
The cult of goo monsters?
Basically, yeah. Like they're just the visionaries of chaos. They love chaos and, like mutation and, decay and all the good stuff. Just making a mess out of everything. His ideals, he went for cruelty. Strength without regular demonstrations of its power is an empty weapon. And so that ties into the cult as well, because he's just basically like a force of nature, essentially. Everywhere he goes just is corrupted and mutated, and so if he wanders through the woods, like that patch of land is just getting torn. Yeah, just like creatures are growing extra limbs and becoming, enraged and creepy, and all sorts of fun stuff is happening. And he just kind of revels in it because it shows that he's powerful. Demonstrates his power. So, he's a perfect product of creation because demon bonds is always the same.
Well, the thing is, though, most demons are just sort of spawned, right? And this guy, he was a human, or he was an elf.
He was an elf, yeah, an elf. So,
he's extra
product of creation. Yeah. Well, so and then I went with he becomes entangled and betrayed by his own machinations because. Honestly, like, he's such a mess. He has no idea what he's even doing. Him like corrupting people actually caused problems for himself as well, and corrupting the world around him draws attention to his plans, and it's just a problem.
Are his plans like clever?
He's still vaguely trying to support his patron. And the patron's big thing is like it's basically like it's kind of like a little Cthulhu-y. The patron's called Carnaster, which is literally just meat star. Like it's this big blob of flesh in the far realm that just like gets people to do a ritual that summons a portal that takes them into the far realm so they can be absorbed into him. Because he wants everything to be one, creature. And so it's like really into anything that causes, crazy body horror, basically. So he gives you powers that do that. Like the spells I was giving it off that guy was like polymorph, true polymorph, like all that kind of stuff. Alter self.
Would you be like, polymorph, you're a turtle, or would you be like, polymorph, you have 7 legs?
That he'd be much more into the 7. Like the massive flesh is like, yeah, more legs. 1,000 legs. That can go wrong for you when you're like, I gave 7 legs to the mayor, and then they're all like, what's going on with the mayor? Maybe it's that cult over there. Stop him. So.
I gave the hero an extra set of arms, and he just hit me with them.
I will tell you about the first combat that occurred with this creature. So yeah, his features, I gave him
you went
extra
nuts,
eye.
I bet.
What?
I bet you went nuts on this thing.
Oh, I only picked 2. I could have gone really crazy, but really I wanted him to be like recognizable as like elven, at least a little bit, but like clearly like deformed. Mm-hmm. So I did the ever open extra eye, and I made it like a tiger's eye, so it's clearly like not his eyes, like he doesn't just have a third eye. Mm-hmm. I did long arms as well.
That's just creepy.
It's just really creepy. Like I wanted him to kind of look like the sectoids from XCOM 2. Like the extra tall weird ones, like gray skin and like extra long, but like elven features still.
They're like the tall man.
Yeah, and I could have gone with like head hands or something just wild. It's just
give him tiny wings.
Yeah, tiny wings. Tiny wings. I feel like it's so sad for you. It makes it feel like a baby demon.
I am Balthanor the Destroyer. I have these tiny wings. I can fly 10 feet.
Whee! Yeah. The bigger point of this demon serve as like a figurehead for this cult, because they're more interested in chaos than him, but he's sort of an example of what they aspire to be, because he's just like an avatar. Like everywhere he wanders around, just things go insane, get messed up, and so like they like him, but more of like they're just pointing at him and saying, "This will." So the cult was more important. They were big into the death of a hated enemy or rival, and that would be basically, I was saying like the rival would be basically any form of like government or order, or they're just like pure anarchists. Mm-hmm. They want to destroy everything with that. We got the resources. So the cult thrives through the support of generations of a powerful noble family. So one of those is the elf who has been turned into the sculptor. I had him basically be from like a powerful merchant family, and he was big into like collecting books, and he started to collect really weird books and eventually get into like demon stuff and far realm warlock things, and he was like, hey, warlock powers.
That's the easiest way to get him.
Yeah, right? Just make a pact with some giant massive flesh in the sky.
Yeah, the meat star.
The meat star. What do we got now? The organization entrenched, so part of local culture tradition. So that was that has to do with the noble family. I feel like those tie together really closely too.
Yeah,
like if this family's been in like a town for 200 years, right? Like you're not going to expect them necessarily to be harboring a cult of chaos, but it wouldn't be too weird. They have the money for it. They throw lots of dinner parties.
That's a really good one for a very flavorful, scary setup where it's like, hey guys, it's time for the yearly, whatever thing. And you go down and you're like, all right, here's your drink. And you drink it and suddenly you're covered in boils. And they're like, congratulations, you're perfect.
Yeah, we changed you. You did it. So that was basically what was happening. So the setup for this was they came up from like the southwest coast of this long continent, and as they were traveling into the woods, traveling northeast, they started to see like weird stuff in the forest. Like it was like they see like a crane with like 6 legs, and it like fires poison spines at them. And they're like, "What the heck is this? Get out of here!" And they go camp in a different forest, and then they're like, "Oh, there's these rotting wolves that are like desperate to kill us," and so eventually they got to a town, and the farmers there were like, our cows are like really sick, and the druid goes over and checks the cows and like, oh no, these cows are like a mess. Like they're like, yeah, like they're like growing extra parts, and like they have 3 tongues and all this crazy stuff. And they're like, why is this happening? And they find out about this noble family. And they go check out the house. They find, people brewing up chaos juice in the basement, and like, the head of the family is baptizing people, and like they're getting mutated. Yeah, it was like a slow build to this. And then while they were in the town, they blew up the family's house, killed the main guy, and then the demon shows up. I didn't get to the cult hardship yet, but I did 6 and 3,
both.
So, well, I was thinking like 6 is probably like the bigger part of the problem with the cult, is that this demon just does not care about. Right? Like they say, well, he's cool, we like this guy, but he's like, I'm crazy and I'm gonna melt your face. Because he just has no need for them other than to help spread chaos and mutation.
And he probably doesn't even care that much if they do.
No,
he's doing a good enough job on his own.
Exactly. And so I picked 3 also because a real chaos cult couldn't hold together, because they're just going to be like destroying things. Like people are going to notice,
Yeah.
But yeah, so the big ability that I gave, there is a creature on page 137. It's just hideous.
Oh.
So I don't like this creature that much, because it's just kind of like a blob thing.
Well, yeah, that's the perfect chaos monster.
Exactly, though. But so what I do like about him is his legendary action, flesh warping, which is on the next page. Because this fits in with the whole thing that I was trying to do with chaos, right? So like, look at some of these, right? So like the first few are like, okay, well, weird stuff's happening. Like you can use the claws as daggers. They're not all awful. They're kind of annoying more than anything. So the first encounter that they had with this demon, they immediately kind of felt like something was up. I used my other favorite creature in the adherers. Like the zombies I kept sending against you guys that like your weapons got stuck in them?
Yeah.
Really annoying, but like very on brand with the whole melty flesh
yes to
mutation
both of those.
thing. Right? So basically a bunch of these like come out of like field, and they're like attacking the house that the party is staying in, and so they're fighting them off, and then like this really tall like elven dude shows up, and he's got this tiger eye, and he's like, I'm gonna melt your face. And most of the party believed him. They fought off the last of the adherers, and they were like, we gotta leave. Like, we already encountered the cult. We already found out they're like, this thing is mutating the whole, because they found out that this cult worshipped this demon. So they kind of knew what to expect, and that like all the forests around there were his fault. But the paladin was like, no, I gotta protect the town. let me at least take a couple swings at him. And so this dude just walks up and just like flicks him in the forehead, and he grows an extra head because I rolled 100 on the table.
All upside.
Yep. That was pretty exciting. It just instantly a second head. And the paladin was like, whoa, I didn't know that was possible. And I was like, hey, he wants to prove that he's badass. That was the setup for the sculptor. He's gonna sculpt your flesh.
Do you have plans to bring this guy back?
So here's what's really interesting. So that cult that they thought they dismantled was actually like it was a bunch of like humans and elves who were basically pretending at being true visionaries of chaos. There's the Drow cult that's actually like harvesting raw chaos in the Underdark, and our warlock in the party thought that it was a good idea to send a letter to them and basically say these guys are infringing on your copyright. What are you going to do about it? And everybody that they talked to about this was like, you probably shouldn't do that. They're really dangerous. So my plan for that is basically the town is now like Cthulhu Central. Like they just went crazy on this town and reduced it to like, it's like a pit with just horrible monsters in it.
They basically showed up and they said, yeah, we'll show you how to do it.
Yeah, like you guys aren't even chaosing 10% power. Like we're going to kick this into 150% chaos and just, yeah, ruin the town. So they don't fully know that yet, that's happened. They've been far up northeast because they were traveling along and they just came across this town. But yeah, they do need to get rid of Sculptor. They do need to get rid of, they just need to go back to the town. So I think it's been interesting. Like with your guy with the fluffing the stats around, like I think having something, it's like some really dangerous, mysterious power gives longevity to a creature like that. Because even if he's not super dangerous in combat, because I didn't plan on making him actually that dangerous, but like if you can't even get near him without something horrible and pretty permanent happening, you're just going to avoid the fight if you can. I think it keeps them going a bit longer.
Yeah, that's a really good demon enemy, and it's not hard to find them too. I bet you're just like, oh, let's follow the path of mutated monsters.
Yeah, no, like he leaves like like you go into any forest and you start seeing some weird stuff, you know he's probably around.
Do his creations tend to die off after like a couple weeks if he leaves?
Yeah, because they're just so messed up. So really, it is like they can track the trail of this guy.
That's pretty cool. Let me ask you a question. Where is his tiger eye?
I was gonna go like top of the head.
Traditional third eye spot.
No, not on the forehead, like on the top.
Like where there's hair.
Yeah, like just on the top of his skull, just like this. Yeah, just real wild with.
He's got like a cool cut. Cut it out.
the friar tuck.
Yeah.
Out of the eye. He is an abomination. His haircut is terrible.
He wears a see-through, a one-way yarmulke.
Or no, just like one of those visors. Then he'd fit in with your demon.
Yeah, he's got to do some
accounting. The green acrylic visor.
Yeah, your demon sounds very, very easy to use as well in a setting.
Well, I mean, I did craft him, right? So like, I think that's what's cool about this is like you could pick and choose something to fit a storyline, or you can just go, let's roll up a demon and see what's going on. I think Demon Mad Libs is a good time.
I think it is. I think it is too. I think the problem with my demon is that you have a hard time setting up the cops and justice system of a town to be totally corrupt.
Yeah,
you have to like really
especially
have
with a ghost demon.
Yeah,
I think if it was like more humanoid and really just like he had like a couple weird things, like if it was like just this like super like stereotypical like mafia boss, but he just happens to belch flies. Just the little hint, just like the littlest hint that horrible demon. That could be interesting.
Why? I treated mine like my demon's not even around. He's in the astral sea, and you can summon him to do his messed up rituals, but he doesn't want to be here. He wants to go fly around where, interestingly enough, he can only take psychic damage when there's like... That's just where he's from.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it would be very much like might show up at like climax of handling the corrupt town. I think it could work. I think it's like it's just a little wonky, but that's when you roll for it. That's kind of what you get.
Well, I think what you could do instead is so his name is Moxmanoth. Maybe he's just the worst demon at hiding his true name, and it's actually pretty easy to summon him.
Oh, he just keeps showing up.
Well, no, it's if you want to start a crazy cult, you can summon him and then feed all the stats out of some poor chump. But if you want to kill him, maybe like there's a certain ritual you can do that's hyped up where he can't deny it and he has to show up.
Yeah.
So you just set like a nice scene, you go on your little quest, you get your 4 pieces of the whatever, you get your sheriff badge and your law book, and your condor feather, and you put it down. He's like, "Oh snap! I guess we're fighting."
Yeah, I think we could do Demon Mad Lib. I think that could be fun.
we could definitely do that again. I don't think we should do it for a while though, because there's so many monsters.
There's many, and we will continue. We will continue to go.
So I'm thinking that's good for now. We should plan for next week.
Yeah, cool.
So you chose demons.
Yeah, theme.
So I'm gonna go with a stone or statue theme.
Oh, like a construct type of thing?
Maybe not even necessarily a construct. Like a Zorn would work, or something else that's a rock. What it was like the Gobdul or whatever it is you guys ran into. The boulder guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. So a stone creature.
Yeah, I don't have anything planned, so I'll have to make something up. But
yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, like that's the idea. Is come up with a theme and think about it.
Yeah.
Cool.